champion.
The hard work paid off.
When it comes to brands with true champion legacy in motocross, there's only a few that stand the test of time. Australia's largest motocross gear, parts and accessories store, we stock the biggest range and the best brand. Alpinestars is at the pinnacle. So we're about to travel halfway across the world, right here from MXstore HQ on the Gold Coast to Alpinestars HQ in Italy to capture a rare look behind the scenes of the brand that has shaped the way we ride. Founded in 1963 in the small Italian town of Oslo, Alpinestars begin with a simple mission: build better boots to the riders pushing the limit. Fast forward to today, Alpinestar now sits at the heart of motorsports as one of the most influential brands in the world. Trusted by champions across motocross, enduro, MotoGP, rally, and even Formula One. Filippo is going to take us for a look around the Alpinestars HQ to check out where technology and innovation meets decades of Alpinestar racing heritage.
So welcome to our R&D1 building. Here is where we develop and manufacture all the products for racing. No matter if we are talking about cycling, motocross, Formula One, NASCAR and so on, everything is done here in this building. And moreover, we have the production of the footwear and the development of the footwear, both concerning racing and the final user. So here we have the footwear development, both for racing and the final customer. Here there are some samples of the boots we have in our range, both regarding off-road and road racing. For example, now I show you, because basically the development of the boots depends a lot on the different plastic and materials that are used in the boots. The office is divided in two different parts. We have guys who works with two-dimension mathematics, who are more focused on the fabric and the leather, while we have other guys who works on plastic, so on harder materials, and they work with three-dimension mathematics. So the office is split in this way. They are focused just on specific part of the boot, and as you know, the boot is what we became popular for, and it was the first product we developed. This is a Tech 10 boot, so the pinnacle of the boot we have in our range regarding motocross and off-road in general. What makes our boot different in comparison to the other one is that we use a 3-buckle system. All the other brands on the market use a 4-buckle system, and you have an inner boot inside. The inner boot is important because it prevents the injuries to the ankle and so on, but at the same time it gives more comfort to the rider. So mix between a socks and another boot. We combine protection and comfort. Downstairs then I will show you the production of the boots. They develop basically all the footwear, both regarding motocross, enduro, road racing, road. So it's both focused on the final customer and racing. A very important thing for a company that develops the footwear is the last, because we try to replicate the shape of the foot, and it's not an easy job because everyone has his own shape, so developing a good last, it's not so easy, but you know, over the time, thanks to the experience we gain, we've been able to have a pretty, you know, to be recognized as one of the biggest players in the footwear world. Here we have the cutting area. So once we have the pattern done, we go ahead with the proper production, and in this area we cut all the pieces for all the racing stuff we develop for the different championship. With those machines we are able to make the cut automatic, and we cut like leather of different shape and for different products like gloves or so on. But another part of cutting is done just behind by hand by our colleagues, and everything is handmade, and so that's what makes the real difference, because we can customize 100% the product according to the rider need. In the back we have the final stages of the production, and you can see different baskets with different colors, and we use this just to, you know, not to get confused and to perfectly understand for which championship and for which kind of racing is dedicated the basket. So for example, you will see the yellow yellow one are dedicated for off-road, which could be motocross, Dakar, and so on. Then we have the red basket, which are mainly focused on road racing. So we talk about MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3, Superbike, and so on. And then we have like the blue basket for the auto, so for the 4 wheels. In the back, we have the production of the gloves. The production of the gloves is done for all the different kind of discipline together, because they have some particular machinery, and so all of them are there. And yeah, on the left side we will see the production of the boots, and at the back we have the take care department, which is mainly focused on the production of the airbag system. After the research and the development, we move to the production area with all the different pieces cut. We are able to assemble them and build the boots. As I was saying to you, we use both leathers for the soft part, but at the same time we use also hard plastic, and so we try to mix them to have the final product. So this area is mainly dedicated to the stitching of the different parts. When we have the boot completely stitched, we move ahead to the second part of the production, where we close and we finalize the boot. So here, for example, we don't do only the production but also the maintenance. In this case, these boots were brought back by the racing service guys, and the rider asked us to replace the sole, so we were able to remove the sole, and now the colleagues will install the new sole, because we offer the racing service to our teams and our riders, and so they do not have only the product supply, but at the same time we guarantee the maintenance, the boot over the time. So, but here, for example, you have Aaron Plessinger. We start from a normal last, let me say, but then we had some modification according to the injuries that the riders unfortunately have. For example, he has an ankle injury, so he has this part which is bigger in comparison to the other side, and we had some extra material just to give the exact shape of the foot of Aaron Plessinger. So here is like our warehouse of all the last, because you know, especially with the boot, the feeling is very important, because in this case you ride the car or the bikes with using your foot, and so it's important to have a boot that perfectly matches the shape of your feet. And here we try to have a sort of warehouse of all the different lasts for our riders, to give them the best product possible. Here we have all the machineries that are needed, you know, to finalize the boots, like to install the sole, or when all the boot is stitched together. Here is the part where we are able to finalize it and to close it and to deliver it. When the boot is ready, as you can see, they remove the last, because the boot has taken the shape, and so it's ready to be shipped, and it's ready for the rider. In this case, for example, as I was saying to you, he is assembling the sole. Here we do both, as I was saying, the maintenance, but also the production of new boots, and in this case he's gluing the sole to the bottom of the boot. R&D2. So, welcome to R&D2. This is the research and development center for all the products that we sell on the market. So basically here we develop both auto, motorcycle, and so on, gear protection, everything that we sell on the market. All the research, development, and so on is done in-house. We have a specific department for each kind of product, and basically, yes, the goal is to always improve our products and to work on every single aspect in order to give the people the chance to develop and to have the best product possible. Here is the research and development for helmets. Helmet is one of the latest products we introduced in Alpinestars. We started with the motocross helmet with the SM10, and then we released the SR10, which is the helmet focused on road racing. Here is where we basically produce what we have developed over there. Is like a sample area, so we are able to produce a sample that we are able to test. So we are able also to, for example, if we develop a jacket, we are able to produce the jacket, put it on and try with the bike and understand if any changes is needed before going into the production. So here is the labs area where we are able to test, analyze all the materials, all the products that we use and we produce. We have different kind of machineries, as you can see. For example, this one is the sole insert abrasion test. As you can see, we have the sole of the boot and the foot bag of an off-road bike, and in this case, and we put some weight on this, and we are able to replicate the movement that the foot does on the foot peg, and to understand the consumption, for example, of the soles of the boots. Traction and the compression dynamometer. Basically what we do is place over there a piece of fabric or a piece of plastic, and this is a machine that tests the traction, so we are able to stress it as much as possible and understand what's the breaking point, so when it breaks, and on the screen we will record some forces, some newton and so on, and so we are able to understand, okay, this material, for example, is good and we can use it in a boot or in a jacket, or it's not good, it's better if we look for another solution. Then here you have the flame test, used especially for the auto products. So we are able to, to test the materials that must be fireproof. All the stuff, for example, in the auto, we have some rules and regulation done by the FIA, which is the federation for all the auto championship, and we are able, for example, to test the suits or the gloves and so on that must be fireproof, and so to protect the driver in case of any crash where fire can happen, basically. The abrasion test, so another test another machine to test the abrasion of the materials and so on. The booty tester, so where we test all the inner booties of the boots. Flexometer, so basically what we do is putting here a piece of leather or a piece of fabric. This machine moves like this, and so we are able to stress this part and understand if it breaks or not, and if for example, in this case, we have a print over there, and so we are able to understand if the color stays like this or if it changes, and so on. Here we have the walk meter. So basically what we do is inserting the boots, and we replicate the walk movement just to understand how much the boot can resist, and to stress and to test the boot for a certain amount of time or for a certain length for some kilometers or whatever we want. Impact test. So this is used basically to understand the forces that are applied to some protection. In this case, we have is the same. So I take it. We have a back protector in plasma, which is a viscoelastic material we developed. The advantage of the plasma is that you have something flexible that can protect you. As you can see, it's very lightweight, it's very breathable due to this shape, and at the same time it can protect you from the impact and so on. So we release basically this weight from a fixed height, and the weight crashes into the protector, and on the screen we are able to see the force and all the data connected to the crash. In this way we are able, for example, to understand if a material can be used like a level 1 protection, a level 2 protection, and so on. Last but not least, we have the climatic chamber to test how the different products react with different kind of temperature. and then the impermeability test to check that for example, some boots are really waterproof, or if there are any issues. Thanks to the machineries, we are able to check it and to guarantee that our product is waterproof. We try to test as much as possible just to be sure that when we launch something on the market is tested and we can guarantee the quality. And here we have the area for the helmets. Let's start from there. Here, for example, we have some helmets we collect after the races. This is the helmet of Guilherme Farres, who crashed in Saint-Jean-d'Angely this year in March. He had a big crash, but the helmet has done its job. As you can see, it's damaged, but the riders didn't have any sort of injuries and walk away without anything from the impact. We bring them back because we want to basically check what happened to the helmet, to inspect it, and also to give a feedback to the team. So to tell to the team, okay, this happened, and we noticed this on the helmet, and so on. So this is the part of racing service is a crucial part in terms of development in order to guarantee and to test the product, and we receive the feedback from the riders, and a crash like this happen, we are able to improve the product that we sell on the market. Then here you have different kind of machines to test different kind of things. Let's start from there. So there you have the two towers, the drop towers, one for the ECE certification and one for the DOT, basically because the requirements of the ECE and the DOT are different. Our helmets are homologated ECE and DOT, and we want to replicate the test here in-house to be sure that when we send out the helmet for the certification, we are okay with everything. And so these two drop towers are basically, we decided to implement these two drop tower to have a real replica of the test that is done by the DOT and the ECE. Then here we have the dynamic elongation, just to test the chin and to the closure of the helmet. So we want to guarantee that if we try to remove the helmet with the helmet, lock on the head, it doesn't. You are unable to remove it basically, and so he doesn't injure also the rider and so on. Here we have the dynamic visor release, which is something we developed by our own, because it's not connected to any sort of homologation, but our helmet, the motocross helmet, has a visor with some connectors, as you can see, and we wanted to guarantee that the visor can release under a certain amount of force to avoid any injury to the neck, for example, of the rider. And so basically what we do is putting on the visor, then we release this part of the machine which drops on the visor, and we were able to understand the force applied to the visor and to understand when we want to release the visor or not. And then the dynamic roll-off, so is a test to check the stability of the helmet and to avoid that you can lose the helmet while you are riding basically. EPS shell. Then here you have the MIPS system, which is is part of is included in our SM10 helmet. Then you have this is a sample, a 3D printed sample. We printed just for the development part. So when we develop the product, we design it, but we are able also to print a proper sample to check the shape, to check if everything is okay, and if everything has been developed according to our ideas, and what are the requirements that are needed. Welcome to the HQ of Alpinestars, which is basically our headquarters in Italy. Here we have all the offices regarding accounting, IT, trade support, media, racing. So basically all the office tasks are done there. In the area we visit, we have the HQ, the R&D 1 and the R&D 2, which are the other two buildings we have just visit, plus a warehouse center where we ship all the orders. As I told you before, mega room, and yeah, in every room we have also the picture of the rider on the wall. This is the showroom for the racing sport and adventure side. So we talk about motorcycle. Basically the goal of the showroom is to have like one piece for each product we have. Here we have the Martinator helmet from last year. All the SR10 helmets we have in our catalog with all the different colorways. We have some replicas like the Miller replica, for example. We release also the Martin replica. Then here is the area of racing sport where you can find all the leather suits for motorcycle that we have in our catalog, all the leather jackets. Then here some casual, more jackets, more leather suits. Here the contemporary area, and over there, as you can see, we have adventure and the footwear. Here you have the helmet of Jack Miller, Pedro Costa and Jorge Martin. Yeah, basically is where they do also the trainings with the dealers, because our product is very technical, and we want both the dealers, for example, but also the sales guys who are out talking with the dealers must be aware of what they sell and all the technical details regarding each single product, because as you can see, we have so much stuff in the catalog, and it's important to understand the specific target of each product in order to be able to sell it to the right person. This is the showroom for the off-road section. More focus on MX and enduro. We have basically here one piece for all the products we have in our catalog. You can find all the chest protectors we have, knee braces, knee protector, elbow protector, the neck braces, the enduro area. This area is mainly focused on gear. As you know, we have 4 different lineups in our catalog, starting from the SuperTech, which is the flagship model, then Texas Racer and Fluid. Real advantage of our company is that we want to always give to the rider what you can buy, and so you can buy the exact same colorway and design that Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence is riding with. We have the helmets with the MX26 collection, which will be released last month. We introduced 2 new models of helmet. We had the SM10 and the SM5, and we introduced the SM7 and the SM3 helmet. The SM10 is the flagship one, and the other models are addressed to different kind of target. The goggles, which has been introduced on the market last year in August for the US market, while in October for the European market. Also here we have different models, so the SuperTech, which is the flagship one, then the Vision 8, Vision 5, Vision 3, Vision Yacht. This is a sort of limited edition we have done for the goggles. Last year for the launch we decided to produce 200 pieces with this particular colorway and to give them to friends and relevant medias all over the world, where everything began in 1963. The offer is very wide because we have the Tech 10 Enduro, Standard Tech 10, Tech 10 Super Vented, Tech 7, Tech 5, Tech 3, the boots for the kids, for the yacht, in different colorways. We always try to match the colorway of the gear and of the helmet to be able to give the full package, and somebody can be head to toe Alpinestars with all the colors matching with each other.